A very good morning to all. My name is Drishya G. Chandran, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemical Engineering, Hindustan College of Engineering and Technology. Today, I am going to discuss about the topic waste to energy conversion method. There are a lot of methods are available to convert waste to a useful energy. But today, we are going to see about waste to energy conversion by using incineration method. What is waste incineration? Incineration is nothing but it's a method of waste treatment involving the burning of organic material found in waste. The heat that is generated during the combustion process is utilized to turn water into steam that is in turn used to power turbine to generate electricity. As you all know, in municipal solid waste, simply we can say that MSW. So in MSW, which contains both organic as well as inorganic material. But the thing is that in incineration process, the burning of organic material takes place. That means the organic material which is converted to some useful product or useful energy. Here, in the case of incineration, we get the useful energy as electricity. Then, the inorganic component or the inorganic material which will converted to ash. And this incineration and other high temperature waste management process that are commonly called thermal treatment method. In incineration process, we use one equipment that is called incinerator. And now we can see different regions which is present inside this equipment. This is a typical representation of incinerator which is used for the conversion of waste to energy. So this incinerator which contains mainly 4 regions. First one is drying region, second one is pyrolysis region, third one is reduction region, and final one is oxidation region. So this drying region which is present on the topmost portion of this incinerator. So for the combustion of a waste material, oxygen as well as a temperature is required. This temperature is normally raised by the burning of some of the liquid fuels or gas fuels. Liquid and gas initially react with oxygen and heat is generated. This heat which helps the waste to be heated, so the temperature increases the moisture content or water present inside the waste or the solid particle is evaporated, that is called drying process. This drying process is considered as the first step in the case of incineration. Due to increase in temperature helps to remove the volatile gases present inside the pores. So the porosity of these particles or the waste materials increases. The porosity increases, the air enters through it and reacts with more particles present inside the waste. And then char combustion takes place. So in this process, the first part is drying and the second part is pyrolysis. Pyrolysis is nothing but at higher temperature, the bigger molecules that are broken down to smaller ones, and that is called volatile gases. The formation of volatile gases is called pyrolysis. When the pyrolyzed gas is formed, The pyrolyzed gas means light hydrocarbon. This gas further reacts with oxygen and converted to carbon dioxide and water. There is one reaction, light hydrocarbon plus oxygen gives CO2 plus H2O. That is, combustion of light hydrocarbon produces carbon dioxide. So this carbon dioxide further reacts with the carbon present inside the waste material. So that process is called reduction. There is also one reaction, that is C plus CO2 gives 2CO. If excess oxygen present in the waste undergo oxidation of charge, that means C plus O2 gives CO2, and this process is called oxidation, and this is the final process which takes place inside the incinerator. To get a complete combustion of solid waste, we need to provide a certain time. That means if the time increases, the size of the solid particles or the waste materials which decreases. The time range we used in the case of incineration process is in between 45 to 60 minutes, and also temperature we used 982 degrees Celsius. This is a pictorial representation of incineration plants. Incineration plants can reduce the mass of waste from 95% to 96%. The decrease in waste is determined by the recovery level and decomposition of substances. Even though incineration does not substitute the need for landfills, it has been able to reduce the quantity of waste in landfills. Incineration has numerous benefits, especially in terms of destroying contaminants, medical waste and other life-risking garbage. Also, incineration largely utilizes waste to energy technology. Now we can see the working of incinerator. This is a process flow diagram of incineration process. Initially, we collect a huge quantity of solid waste, and some pre-treatment is done for this solid waste in order to get a uniform property or to reduce size of the solid waste. Pre-treatment is nothing but it is just a drying process or it's a crushing process. So after the pre-treatment process, the pre-treated solid waste which is again given to another tank. So in that tank, homogenization takes place. There is a one homogenizer and homogenization takes place inside that tank. Homogenization means nothing but it will help to create a stable emulsion, or with the help of this homogenization process we can feed a more quantity of solid waste into the incinerator. Once the solid waste which is fed into the incinerator, in the bottommost portion, so we provide air and also we apply heat. What will happen inside this incinerator? Heating and combustion takes place. So as a result of this heating and combustion, in the topmost portion we get gas, that is a hot gas. The produced hot gas which will go to the boiler. So from that boiler we get steam, and that steam is again given to steam turbine, and from that turbine we get our energy source, that is electricity. The gas which is being exhausted, that will go through cleanup. So what is the purpose of this gas cleanup? It's nothing but to remove unwanted contaminants which is present in it. And from the combustion we will get the ash at the bottom of the incinerator, and that has to be managed through landfilling, that means solid waste management. Thereby we can treat solid waste, and also from that solid waste we get useful energy product. Now we can see some of the advantages of waste incineration. First one is decreases quantity of waste. Incinerators can decrease the quantity of waste by 95% and reduce the solid quantity of the original waste by 80 to 85% depending on the components that were in solid waste. Therefore, incineration reduces dependency on landfill. Second one is efficient waste management. Incineration plays a vital role in making waste management easier and more efficient. Incineration can burn up to 90% of the total waste generated, and sometimes even more. But in the case of landfills, it only allows organic decomposition without making much difference, and non-organic waste keeps accumulating. And third one is production of heat and power. Incineration plants generate energy from waste that can be used to generate electricity or heat. A lot of countries incorporated the heat and energy produced from waste incinerators for the generation of power by using steam turbines. And fourth one is reduction of pollution. Solid waste incinerators are less likely to pollute the environment than landfills. In landfills, which release a higher quantities of greenhouse gases, nitrogen oxides, dioxins, hydrocarbons and non-methane organic compounds. Landfills also leach poisonous chemicals into the water below, thus contaminating underground water systems. First one is incinerators have filters for trapping pollutants. The main problem concerning the incineration of solid waste was the release of hazardous compounds, particularly dioxin. Incinerator plants use filters to trap hazardous gases and particulate dioxin. The current incineration plants operate within the required pollution limits recommended by the Environmental Protection Agency and international protocols. Sixth one is saves on transportation of waste. Incineration plants can be near cities or towns. This is advantageous since it means waste does not have to be driven for long distances for dumping. It significantly reduces the cost of transport. The money can then be spent on the well-being of the community and sustaining the growth of a city or district. Seventh one is provide better control over odor and noise. Incineration plants can provide less bad smell because waste gets burnt, unlike landfills where waste is allowed to decay, thereby emitting unpleasant smells which cause air pollution. The production of methane in landfills may also lead to explosions that cause noise pollution, which is unheard of when it comes to the use of incineration plants. Eighth one is eliminate harmful germs and chemicals. Incineration plants function at very high temperatures that can destroy germs and chemicals that are harmful. Thus, it is a very effective method when it comes to eliminating clinical waste. Ninth one is incinerators operate in any weather. Incinerators can function in any type of weather. For instance, during a rainy season, waste cannot be dumped in a landfill because the rain will forcibly wash down poisonous chemicals into the ground and consequently create leachate, thus contaminating the underground water as well as the neighboring land. The 10th one is effective metal recycling. When incinerators are burning waste, the metals still remain whole because they have a high melting point. After the process of burning waste is done, the workers remove the remaining metal and recycle it. This eliminates the need for separating any metal before waste disposal. 11th one is uses of ash. The ash that comes from the combustion of waste can be used in construction, get shipped or even landfilled. Shipping of ash is cheaper than transporting of unburned trash. It will also reduce liability issues. 12th one is occupies relatively small space. Incineration systems occupy relatively small space. Therefore, these are a convenient and practical solution for managing waste. And the final one is uncontaminated groundwater. Every time precipitation falls on landfills, a thick slurry of liquid garbage like pea soap is formed called leachate. This contaminated mixture can penetrate underground aquifers and add pollutants such as unsafe quantities of salt, heavy metals and volatile organic compounds, also other toxic or corrosive chemicals or substances found in household trash. Unlike landfills, incineration doesn't add any toxic elements to the groundwater. Also, it helps prevent leakage of chemicals from landfills into the environment and the soil getting averted. These are some of the disadvantages of incineration process. First one is, it is very expensive. The installation of an incineration plant is an expensive process. Particularly, the cost of constructing the infrastructure, to the cost of operating the incineration plants are very high. An incineration plant requires trained personnel. Incinerator plants also need regular maintenance, which adds to the already high costs of operating it. Then second one is, it pollutes the environment. Incinerators produce smoke during the burning process. The smoke produced includes acid gases, carcinogen dioxin, particulates, heavy metals, and nitrogen oxide. These gases are poisonous to the environment. And third one is damaging public health. And fourth one is the possibility of long-term problems. And fifth one is ash waste can potentially harm people and the environment. Thank you.